Okay, I wanted to do this video because this pops up a lot. Somebody asked me this question and I was like, you know what? I don't want to make you guys wait. This is something you probably want to know right now. All right, what do you do if there are a lot of errors in the ALJ decision? All right, let's kind of lay the foundation for how this thing plays out. You've been waiting for months, you finally get your decision from the judge, and boom, what happens? The decision says it's an unfavorable decision, which means that the judge has denied you. Now, once you get over the initial shock of being denied, then you start reading the decision and you start noticing some things in here that make your blood boil. You start seeing things that you think are wrong or what we call errors in your decision. So now you're at a point where you're trying to decide, how do I deal with the fact that it looks like whoever put this decision together for the judge or even the judge themselves screwed up some things. All right, so let's kind of walk this through accordingly. First and foremost, you're at a point where if you get denied by a judge, you can either appeal it or file a new application. Now, let's just assume for our purposes that you went ahead and decided, I'm going to file an appeal on this one. What do I need to do in the interim with regards to this? Okay, errors. When there are errors in a decision, they're usually one of three types, or what I call three types. There are legal errors, there are factual errors, and then there are perceived errors. So let's kind of go down the line and let's talk a little bit about how each one of them plays out. Okay. Let's first start with, quote unquote, legal errors. For my purpose, that is the main one that I'm focusing on. I could really care less about anything else and so forth. I want to know, what did the court do wrong? Because in essence, what you're trying to do is you're trying to say to the next body that's reviewing the decision, whether it be the appeals council, USDC, whatever the case may be, you want to make sure you show and tell them, what exactly did the judge do wrong legally when applying the facts and circumstances of your case, that had they done it properly, you should have gotten a different outcome. That's all they care about when you leave this court, okay, is what did the judge do legally wrong? So what are the legal errors? And that's a big picture thing. Now, you can hit the specifics, but you've got to be able to point at the big picture. What you're trying to do is you're trying to show the appeals council or whoever the federal court judge is that there was something that the judge, had the judge done it properly, they would have gotten a different determination. So that's a legal error. The next one I call factual errors. Factual errors speaks for themselves. The facts that are listed in the decision, you have a dispute or you disagree or you believe the judge just got flat wrong as it relates to your case. What do you mean by that? Let's say, for instance, in the month of December 2016, you went to the doctor 5 times. But in your judge's decision, the judge says you didn't go to the doctor at all in December of 2016, when the medical records clearly shows that you went to the doctor 5 times. So that's a factual error. So you're like, okay, that's the situation right there where the judge just got it wrong. Then there was what I call perceived errors. Perceived errors are where you have a slightly different interpretation of what the judge says and you believe it's wrong in terms of what the judge was saying. So let's use that same example. You went to the doctor 5 times in December of 2016. The judge says you only went a few times. You say you went a bunch of times. Terms of art. Is 5 a few or 5 a lot? In your opinion, 5 is a lot. In the judge's opinion, it's a few. And I tell people, listen, the devil's in the details. Don't get so caught up on the nuances where you get fired up and mad and don't look at the bigger picture. Perceptual errors are kind of tough to make those arguments when you're talking to the Social Security Administration going forward, the appeals council, things of that nature, because that's really what you're trying to do, is that you're mad that the judge didn't see it the way you saw it. You're never going to win those fist fights. So what your main focus is really on is the legal errors and the factual errors. Legal is the biggest one. Let me tell you why. Because even if you have a possibility where you can identify where the judge made an error of law, an error of a particular fact, if the judge would have included that fact or would have reported it properly, would he or she have come to the same outcome? If the answer is yes, there's a phrase we use in the legal community called a harmless error. Well, it's a harmless error. In the grander scheme of things, should the judge have mentioned that? Sure. As a result of them not mentioning it, does it hurt you or change the judge's mind, or does the weight of all the medical evidence give a different outcome? No. So even though the judge didn't mention those couple of things, that doesn't necessarily kill you for those purposes. So I just want you to keep those things in the back of your mind. Don't get so caught up in the nuances of it that you lose sight of this. You are trying to focus on changing the body that's reviewing your case their mind that the judge applied the law properly, and you use the factual errors to support that overall argument. Here's something you need to be aware of, okay? The main focus is always, and I'm saying this like a broken record because what happens is a lot of times when you get a decision, you're so mad that you're reading it and you're seeing where the judge appears to be using, relying on facts that were wrong. Well, I never went to that doctor, and that doctor's a quack, and all these things, and you get so caught up, but you're so busy focusing on the nuances of the little thing that's pissing you off that you're not taking a step back to look at the big picture. The question is, did the errors that you saw in the decision, what part did that play towards impacting the decision? If you're saying that that one doctor visit that they went to, had they judge would have considered it, they would have changed his mind or her mind, you've got to be able to argue properly how, in what way are you saying that's the case? And that's where a lot of people get really upset and caught off. So this is what I tell people all the time. It's all about the bigger picture. The bigger picture is, what did the judge legally do wrong? And don't get caught up in the whole, well, he got it wrong because I'm disabled and he said I'm not. Well, that's why you're appealing. They know that already. They want you to get to the specifics in terms of what exactly. Tell us, what is the law? What was the judge required to do? What didn't the judge do? And had the judge done that, how would that got them to a different outcome? If you can't bridge those gaps, arguing about the fact that they may have overlooked a doctor you went to, or that they made the name of a doctor wrong. Well, you didn't go to Dr. Johnson, you went to Dr. Gupta. You didn't go to Dr. Smith, you went to Dr. Curry. Yeah. If it doesn't change the overall decision, that decision is going to stay the way it is. Now, here's the other thing that you need to be aware of. If you don't know how to do that, get help. I can't say it enough times. There are plenty of websites, blogs, paperback books, whatever, video streams that you can go that can show you how to do those things. And if you want to do it on your own, knock yourself out. But I'm going to also say that if you don't know what you're doing and you're not totally sure of how to identify those errors in such a way so you can be able to demonstrate and show the reviewing body that's reviewing the judge's decision what was done wrong, get help. Because this is the long game, people. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And you want to make sure you show what the proper errors were and how those errors, if they would have not occurred, you would have gotten a different outcome.